Hello, welcome to Greenwood Bonsai Studio. Today we're going to be doing a small series of videos in the upcoming weeks on deciduous bonsai improvement. We've got a few trees lined up to do this on. This is the first one that I wanted to show you. This has recently come into us from a collector and he's pretty good with his trees. He knows what he's doing, but he's going down a route of collecting more pines and less maples. So this is a rough bark Japanese maple, Acer palmatum Arakawa, and you can see it's got a rough corky bark, which is the nature of this tree. So this is a good feature of this tree. It has good autumn colour, so in a couple of months time it will go in bright orange and bright red. It can have quite a long petiole, a long internode, which can make it a little bit awkward to grow, and they can send out a few awkward twigs and branches. And we've got some evidence of this here with some long straight sections, some long internodes here, some stubby branches, and it's all just things that can be improved and be worked on. So this has recently come into us at Greenwood, and a tree like this, where I can see that we could make some improvements in the short term that are going to help it long term. So we're just going to spend, there's probably 20 minutes worth of work for me to work on this tree, just to move it on a few stages and make it a more presentable tree, and sort of turn around some of the faults and some of the branches, just to make it look a lot more presentable before we offer it for sale and it finds its new home. So briefly, as this comes into us, you're looking at the front of the tree there. Good strong base, good nibari and roots. We've got a bit of a bulge here on this right hand side. Now the problem with that is if we carve that away, we're going to make quite a big scar and we're going to get rid of this corky bark. So at the moment stage of development with this tree, I would suggest it's less offensive leaving that as a bit of interest than carving it away and making something that's more obviously a scar. So we're not going to alter the front, we're not going to do anything like that. We're going to go with this as a working front. You could come around here a little bit more. As you come around here a little bit more, this base becomes better, but this bump becomes more pronounced. So probably working with that original front is what we're going to do. So we're mainly going to do some work on the branches of the tree, and we're going to wire and shape it a little bit. And wiring this tree, if we did it in early spring, they can grow quite quick and the wire can cut in very quickly. So at the moment here, it's the middle of August, beginning of August, so this has put out its initial burst of growth in spring. It's now slowed down a little bit, so I think that's a good time of year to get a little bit of wire on this and see what we can do with it. So first things first, there's a couple of like dead stubs where it's been trimmed back in the past, look here, and it hasn't budded out. So we can take those dead stubs back with a concave pruner. And here we've got a bit of length on this branch, so this really wants to be wired. See if we can wire it down and into here a little bit. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of wire onto branches like that. So we'll start off just under here, just run this wire along, and we doesn't have to be too tight on here. I'll get it on and another turn like that. And then in here, careful to work your way between the leaves. That's the disadvantage of wiring this at this time of year. It's much quicker and easier to do it when it's not in leaf. But something like that. If we finish this wire off here and take that tip off there, and then this other end of the wire is going to come along into here. So just before I started this video, we've just taken a still photograph. Josh the cameraman's taken a still photograph of this tree so that we can compare it when we're done. So these can be quite brittle in spring, or even at this time of year, so we need to be careful. We're going to be trying to manipulate this branch down like that, and we've got some finer shoots just here, this one, so let's get a wire on that. and bring this around into here, just moving these leaves out of the way as we go, like that. And then this one is going to come around into here. So now we can just drop this one down a little bit lower, and we can tuck that one down there just to fill in. These are growing up a little bit too much. Some of these are a bit long. It's got that a bit more organised. This little sprout here we don't need. So we've done this foliage bed. Let's have a look at this next one up. This is a bit too long. Shorten this back. Here we can take these tips out, these branches. This shoot here going back into the tree, we'll just take it back down to that first pair of leaves. Same with this one, coming to the rear of the tree here. This is quite nice, that's usable, and this one's good but a bit too long. Again, I'm going to get rid of that long internode. It's never going to bud between here, so it's 2-inch long internode you don't really want. And then we've got this one here. I'm undecided with this, because this wants wiring down this branch to come into here. This one's quite long, but we could use it to here to fill in. I think what we'll do is we'll wire this little one first, because long term this is all we need to wire this here and use that as our branch. Now if I wire this one, I'm going to wire this one first, because if I wire that one and I bend it and it snaps, for instance, I've still got this one. But if I cut this one off and I bend this one and it snaps, then I haven't got either of them, because they can be a little bit fragile. So I'm going to wire that first middle shoot first. So we'll use a little bit thicker wire, bit of 2.5mm wire on that, and we'll just start it. We'll just start it here on the start of that branch. Just carefully bring it around here. I say it doesn't have to be too tight through this middle section. Get that tight around there. Just slipping off a little bit. And through to this tip. Let's see if we can't get a bit of movement in that, or to bring it down more horizontal, and bring it forward a little bit as well. So because we've got that into position now, I'm going to shorten that long internode back, this one here. It's going quite strongly upwards, this branch here. There's a little internode here and here, so it might bud from there, so I'm going to just take it back down low to there to see if it sprouts from there. And then here at the back of the tree we've got another dead stub that wants removing, so we can take that off. And these here, we've got a main branch here, look, and a little secondary branch here next to it. These are quite close together, so it'd be better if we could just bring this one down here, just give them both a little bit of room to breathe, a little bit of their own space. So we can do that, a little bit of wire to sort that out. So a little piece like this, we can just wire from that fork on that branch. Get rid of this little bit here, and just wire from that fork through the centre around here. Be careful. And then this one, we'll get the wire along this one first, and then we can get this branch moved out of the way. It'll make it easier to do that other one. Just try and weave it through as best you can. Use just a wire scissor to help you manipulate the tip of that wire, and then bring this down into here, shorten it back to here, and this one to here, and then back over with these. Get a good turn around there, and through this centre. There's actually two main shoots and a third very thin shoot. So we'll go along that main one like that and bring it down into here and just trim the excess length off. Just take it back to here, and then this one that could just be taken back like that to fill in. So we've got a little shoot here we don't need. So we go back to the front just in a space of a few minutes. We've sorted this side out, this lower left branch, this one above it. We've come round here, we've done the same with the back of the tree. Now we need to do the same sort of thing with these two branches. So these can come down to fill in a little bit more. So we don't need that little shoot there. Let's nip these tips of these branches back here. We'll try and bring this one down here, shorten it back to like that. So that'll be the next ones to do. A slightly thinner wire for those, and actually there's a third branch coming off this stump, so I'm gonna, rather than wire those two together, I'm gonna wire along that third branch, and we'll get a better fix in if we go up from that third branch to that first one, and then we'll go up to the second one. So just a little bit through here. You know, one of the important things we do here is to try and improve trees, you know, our trees, customers' trees. And when you get a tree like this, it comes in, you know, a lot of places just want to stick a price on it, put it out for sale. I get more enjoyment out of just working with it for a little bit, you know. It's not hours worth of work, you know, it's just a little bit of easy work, and it can make such a difference to the tree. Often makes it more saleable. Some people want to buy stuff and they want work to do, and that's fair enough, but then also there's a lot of people that, you know, they want to buy a tree and have it turned out and worked on, so they don't have too much immediate work to do themselves. So this one here to come here, and then this one that was growing up, we can just manipulate that down into here. And when we do so, then this bit here is a bit long, and this branch, this leaf here was a bit damaged, so I've taken that one off. And then this is a long internode here, can shorten back in here. That brings us round to this side. Can you see this tree? Well, before we started, there's a lot of growth in this midsection. Strangely with this tree, there's not that much growth up at the top here, so you need more density at the top. So we can't just suddenly get more density here, but what we can do suddenly is reduce the amount of density here, so we can balance it. So we can reduce some of this heaviness, visually weight, so that it looks the same as the top of the tree. Now we've got a branch here, look, just seeing this one coming off this stub here, comes all the way up here, thinks it's going to be the top of the tree in future. Well, it's not, so we can cut that back down to there, easily done. Let's come back down to this branch here. So this is our main sort of right hand branch from the front of the tree. This little wispy bit we don't really need, that can come off, and that little bobble that's left we can just neaten that up with a concave pruner. A few little stubs to take off, one in here, and this bit growing upwards we don't need. Now this is quite strongly growing upward, isn't it, this one? So I think this one we ought to have a go at trying to pull that down further down to into this sort of level. And I think the best way to do that is with a little guy wire. So we'll see if we can do that. So we'll get a bit of 2mm wire. We'll get a little bit of 3mm, 3.5mm wire. And you've probably seen me do this before. We'll get that, wind it around like that. And then this, if we've measured right, we're a bit frugal with the wire, Yeah, I think we should just about be alright. Let's have a go. If it doesn't work, we'll have to get a longer piece of wire. So I'll just tip it up like that. Wait a minute. I'm going to move off the turntable a minute, Josh. It's hard enough to do with two hands, no matter when it's moving around as well. So this is going to come up. Try and get both of these wires to come up, and this heavy piece is just going to stop that from pulling through the drainage hole. That's the idea. So they're going to pull this down. We need to put a bit of cushion in, so a little bit of tubing with a little cut through it halfway through like that, and then that'll allow me to get that wire through like this. I'm going to pull it from just here, so if I can get that wire like that and this one like this, hopefully I've got just enough wire, and it is only just enough. Get these like this. So it's dead easy if you've got three hands. So just need one to hold the wire, one to hold the tree, and one to twist the wire. So let's just get that twist on that top there, and just start to bring the branch down, and then we're just going to twist that wire. So neaten that tip up. So can you get a close up now, Josh? So the wire come up, I can just nick that tube there, so the wire's come through it, nice and neat, just a couple of turns there. And then let's go back to our turntable, bring it across here. So now we need to sort of twist that wire. So the reason you do it like this with a double wire, not a single, is that once we do it with a double wire, we can use a thicker piece of 4mm wire or a nail or something like that, and we can just turn it at this midway point, and it's quite a controlled method of bringing this branch down. Now before that has too much tension in it, I'm just going to get some wire along these other twigs, these are the branches. So one just here, one through there, and one through this smaller shoot just here. Again, just trim off any excess with a wire scissors. So let's bring this down into here, but shorten these long internodes back. I'm going to take that one right back like that. So I think I want to come down a little bit more. So the good thing with this is you can do it quite controlled, and then you can turn this a little bit. You can leave it, a few days, and just go back to it and turn it a little bit more. So what we've tried to do is to make that more horizontal into here, so it's picking up on this foliage pad a little bit more. We need to get this piece here brought down and forward, so that's the next job to do. So the more trees you do like this, this is a normal sort of procedure for us, but the more you do, the more you look at this and think, oh yes, that's all that needs doing. It just wants that little branch moving to here, or that little branch just tweaking around, or a little bit of wire on it, little bit of pruning. So this one wants to come round and forward to here, and this one gonna do this branch here, and then we need one on We need one on this, but this is that's too long and vigorous. We'll take the tip out of here, tip out of there. We'll just need to, not sure if we'll actually gain much by moving that down. Now we've moved this one around, that other one's okay where it is, just here. Or maybe it will benefit. We're here, we might as well do it. A little bit of wine on there. So why don't we just put just a little piece. It'll take a minute. Might make a bit of difference. So through here, just careful. There we go, that's all we need. Just pull that down. So that's made quite a difference with this, just bringing this down. And then the rest of the tree in here, let's just shorten some of these back. This is quite long, this tip. This one's growing up too much. This tip here wants to come back. So does this one. And then we've got a branch here that's coming off here on the left, cutting through the tree. Another one there cutting across from right to left. That one's growing up too much. Same with this and this little section. So next one are these two. See if we can get a little bit of wire on those. That's going back into the tree we don't need. So if we can get a little bit of wire on these two, that'll get those into position. So just a little bit of 2mm wire on those. Well, in actual fact, what we'll do is we'll get a piece that's a bit longer. We'll run a piece on the back of the tree there, because we're going to need to put some wire on this section up at the top. So we'll run a piece of wire from there up to the top, and then this other end of the wire is going to come down. So hopefully doing it at this time of year rather than spring, we're going to be able to get these branches to set in position, but we're going to minimise the fact that the wire might cut in or scar, because the tree's growing at a slower rate. It's slowed down a little bit. So there's one there, and then if we go up to the top here to this branch, like so. So we'll do this lower one first. So this wants to come down into here. So that's quite nice. This is a bit long, this internode, so we'll just terminate it back there. And then that one there, that's not a bad way of sitting actually. To put a wire on to move this one from here to here, not really going to make a lot of difference. So this one's quite long. These we don't need. And at the back of the tree here, there's another couple of little ones we could sort out. Well, a little bit of this wire. See if we can't get a piece of wire from here coming up through here. It's a little bit tricky, a little bit busy. Just take if you haven't done this before, just take your time when you're manoeuvring through branches like this. This can come down like this and in like that, just to fill in a little bit. And this one can come back to here. This is a bit long. Just starting to sort of bring it in, get a bit of a nicer shape to it. Now we'd already wired this one here, hadn't we? So we'd want another couple of bits of 2mm wire. So one of them is going to come up this chute. So that can come off this one. So we get a piece of wire through here. . bring it up like this, just under there, and around again, and that's going to come up. Where's that going to want to go? Onto this shoot here. It's quite close proximity to this other one, so I've got to be a bit careful trying to get through and keep both of them. The tip of that, just rotate that around like so. So that's those two wired, and then this section that just needs to come up, and that's going to come around like this through here. Yeah, the long petioles and internodes on Arakawa do make it a challenging Japanese maple to work on. They have a sort of, they almost have a little bit of an inbuilt awkwardness to the way that they grow and the twigs, so they can be a bit of a challenge. Autumn colour spectacular on them, and a good winter image tree, because obviously the corky bark is even more noticeable in winter once the tree is in its bare leaf, bare twigs state. So they look brilliant in spring and in summer, but essentially they're an autumn winter tree to add to your collection for the autumn colour and for the winter twigs. I would suggest. So another one round here. We're nearly done with the wiring. Some of this styling that we've done, you can get some of this control if you were just trimming, but it would take more years to get it, because you'd have to trim the sections off you didn't need and then wait for it to regrow ones in the right place, whereas just moving it around with a little bit of wire should help get the desired shape in a quicker space of time. This is a bit weak at the top, you know, not from a horticultural point of view, but visually weak. So I'm going to raise that top up. I'm going to bring that over here, make this the top of the tree. We're going to bring this one down to fill in here, which makes this shoot here look like it's growing up too much, which of course it is. So we can get rid of that, and then we're going to need to put a tiny bit of 1.5 mil wire on this little shoot here to do this one, and then this one's going to come up through and around to do that, and this one's going to come around here, and we should be able to then just bring this one down to the rear of the tree to fill in, and this one just here. Going to sit down there, but that could be done at a later date. So we've probably just spent, I'm not watching the time, Josh will know he's filming it, but which probably 20 minutes or so from start to finish. We haven't edited any bit out of this video. I pretty much, you were here at the start, the middle and at the end of the video. We've made a more compact top, more rounded apex. We've shortened some of the long internodes back, the big leaves, the straight twigs. We've brought the branches down so they're more horizontal to give a better overall image and shape to the tree. You know, just a few minutes worth of work just to enhance it, make it look a little bit better. This is probably pulled down as much as we need to, but if we do need to pull that down a little bit more in future days or weeks, we can do. So now with a little bit of my intervention, we can tidy this surface up, get rid of these weeds and make it look a lot tidier, and then this will go out on the bench for sale and hopefully find its new home. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like and subscribe to the channel. This is one of a series of a few videos, just simple videos on enhancing trees, just to move them on, make them look a little bit better all round. So we're hoping that a lot of you beginners or intermediate level people will just pick up just a few tips here and there while watching me do this sort of work. And thank you very much for watching.